It is a great satisfaction to greet you again. I hope you and your pet are well. Today we will talk about the following. What should a dog with diarrhea eat? It may seem counterintuitive, but for most healthy adult dogs, the best thing you can do to help get their system back on track is to not offer any food for 24 hours. For very young puppies, under 3 months, older dogs, and those with other known health problems, call your vet for advice first. Sometimes a 24-hour fast will be appropriate, but other times, a 12-hour or even shorter fast may be recommended. They may not even recommend fasting at all. In case of doubt, consult before. However, never hold water. Put away the food dish and don't give treats, but have plenty of fresh water available for your dog. 1. Does a bland diet work for dogs with diarrhea? Yes, a bland diet can help after the fasting period, as long as your dog hasn't had any further episodes of diarrhea and isn't showing any other symptoms. If your dog seems sick, is vomiting, or still has diarrhea, call your vet. This is very important, because you should not tamper with your system again. The fasting plus bland diet plan is most appropriate for dogs who simply had something upset their system, not for chronic conditions. For most dogs, an appropriate bland diet would consist of boiled chicken or boiled hamburger plus rice, to provide protein and carbohydrates. Boiling is recommended to remove as much fat as possible. The idea is to give your dog a food that is very low in fat and easy to digest. It's best to start with a very small amount, sometimes just a tablespoon or 2, to see if your dog has the urge to eat and can keep food down. It's much better to feed a small meal every 2 to 3 hours than a large one right away, even if your dog asks for more. 2. Food for dogs with mild or acute diarrhea. In most cases, mild diarrhea is loose stools that have lasted less than 3 days, with the dog still active and eating and drinking normally, and without other symptoms. It is more of a concern if your dog seems to be feeling sick. You may notice that your dog is sleeping more than usual, is not eating well, is calm, has vomited, has blood or mucus in the diarrhea, or seems lazy. Acute diarrhea starts suddenly. In other words, your dog was perfectly normal on his 10 p.m. walk, and by 6 a.m., the floor was covered in diarrhea. If your dog has mild diarrhea, start with a 24-hour fast, but keep the bowl full of water. If your dog ate breakfast at 8 a.m. and he started having diarrhea at 9 a.m., don't give him any food, including treats, until the next day at 8 a.m. When you offer food, use a soft diet. This bland diet should be a 1-to-1 ratio of boiled meat and rice, for example, 1 cup of boiled chicken and 1 cup of rice, using the leanest meat possible. The most recommended options are the boiled chicken or the boiled hamburger. Begin by feeding 2 tablespoons of the mixture for every 10 pounds of body weight. He offers these small meals every 2 to 3 hours for the first day. It is better to offer too little food than too much. Over the next 3 days, gradually increase your serving size and decrease your meal frequency. Between days 3 and 5, start mixing in some of your dog's regular food. By day 7, most dogs should be back on their regular food and feeling fine. If at any time your dog has more diarrhea, is vomiting, or is not feeling well, call your vet. After the initial fasting period, you should see a steady improvement in your pet's condition, and any setbacks are cause for concern. 3. What should a dog with chronic diarrhea eat? Before you can decide on an appropriate diet, the health condition must be identified, diagnosed, and addressed, and diet is likely only one part of the treatment plan. Prescription diets designed for dogs with diarrhea may be more appropriate if your dog has a long-term problem with diarrhea or a health problem such as inflammatory bowel disease. Prescription foods can help with long-term GI problems because they are made to meet all nutritional needs for longer periods of time. Although a homemade diet such as the bland diet is helpful in the short term, it is extremely deficient in many of the nutrients necessary to keep a dog healthy in the long term. While using it for a few days or a week won't hurt, for prolonged periods it's likely to do more harm than good, which is why prescription foods are best. It is a pleasure to inform you and help you. If you have not subscribed to the channel, you should do it now. Take care of yourself and your furry friend. A hug, and until the next video.